Hello, everyone. We are live and again talking about the World Cup here on LinkedIn. So, if you're watching this live, welcome. It's 11 a.m. Eastern Time, US, 5 p.m. Swiss, here in Switzerland, and we're joined by Sadai and Tamara. And today it's not only about the World Cup, which we are also excited about, although Italy is not playing. So again, there's no need to watch it, but if you really want to, why not? And it's all about emails. Emails. So I confessed on LinkedIn, email marketing is not my favorite part of marketing. I don't know why. Don't ask me why. It's a long story. But we have Sadai and Tamara, yeah. So two amazing digital marketers plus Sadai who knows everything about email. So maybe they convince me otherwise. Maybe they make me start liking emails. But for sure, they will convince the whole TDA is watching that emails are important. So maybe a brief introduction. Sadai, who are you? Let the people know.
Hello, hello. Well, I'm so happy to be here. And yes, it's quite a challenge now that you threw it on LinkedIn. Like, this is not my favorite topic, and I know it is not for many people. But I will tell you, I will convince you otherwise. And you don't have to like it, but you certainly want to be interested in it and develop a skill around it. And there's always the possibility to find someone that can do it for you, but you need to know. My mother used to say, like, you need to know how to cook to teach someone that will cook for you, or to guide someone that will cook for you, right? So we need to know what we're asking for, and if we don't know, we cannot be sure that what we are receiving is good. So we'll see if I can convince you.
Tamara, please introduce yourself and tell us whether or not you like emails.
Oh, hello, everyone. I am Tamara Molu. We always excited to be here on the Hotel Marketing Live Show. And I love emails. It drives revenue. At the end of the day, it really is a place that you build trust with that customer. You know, many times when we're talking about marketing, we're really talking about that top of the funnel thing. And email is this place where people say to you, I want you in my inbox at least once a month, right? There's a huge opportunity there, especially if they're reading their email. So you're spending time building trust, and that trust building eventually leads to some type of conversion for you. So I'm a fan of email. I've worked for brands that have leveraged email, Hilton Worldwide, St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, and every time they sent out an email, they drove revenue. So I'm a believer all the way through.
I totally agree. Sorry. Just very quickly on that point that Tamara is making, email is still the highest return on investment channel. So people get excited about social media. I know it's more interesting to hear about TikTok and like Reels, but it is still like it's about, last time I checked, like $44 per dollar invested that you make in return. So it's still the highest, the best way to make a return on investment. That's it.
And
Sorry.
I agree with both of you. My issue isn't with the return. My issue with emails is that I find it a little bit boring, whereas, other things can be more exciting. And it is more difficult to get an email right than just an Instagram post. Let's be honest. There is more at stake, because if you are sending an email to someone's inbox, it's almost very intimate. It's like you're entering in their lives, right? With a full email, you're asking for so much more attention than just with a LinkedIn post or an Instagram reel. You're asking for so much more, right, from the side of the receiver, that if you get it wrong, well, it's bad.
You know what? If that's the reason why you don't like email, I love that. Because it means that you are now attention to detail. Everything matters. This person, it's so intimate, so personal. So those are all the right reasons not to like it, because you're giving it that.
No. But I don't like it because
I feel like it was an argument for us. So
yeah. I actually had like 0.1 perfectly read. I'm gonna, destroy your point right away.
You always misunderstand me. So what I meant is,
you love email.
What I meant is that if you get it wrong, you really mess it up. There is no way they are resubscribing.
Right.
But you are right that it's more personal, and that's why Tamara was saying this is why we should love email, because you're having a more direct and personalized touch with your customer or your lead than with social media, where you're competing with all the posts. If you get it wrong on social media, they just pass through. So
Yeah.
no, and that's, it's fine, but at the same time nobody sees you, so what's the point in terms of, again, return on investment? But I absolutely get your point, Miret. I see Miret like, no, let me argue more about
But one of the other points you made is that if you get it wrong, it can be bad. But if you get it wrong, you have an opportunity to go back to this database of people that you build trust with and get it right. So when you get something wrong, right, it's about what do you do to fix that? And if you are building trust and you've built some trust, you can leverage that to work at getting it right, because people are more forgiving than we actually believe they are.
Yeah. And hopefully you know your customer, right? You know you attracted people to your email list, so I'm assuming that you kind of know your client, right?
Okay, so I see it's two people who are so much for emails, and I am like, I don't know, from a marketer perspective, it's too much hassle. So I will let the two of you chat. I will take notes, trying to learn a little bit more about emails. For those who want to know a bit more also about emails, you also might want to go onto our website, thehotelmarketing.space. We have some nice AMA sessions on email marketing. So that's a good place to start. And having said that, I will let Tamara and Sadai, I believe your conversation is focused more on cities who are hosting, right? I mean, they're city countries in the end who are hosting the World Cup, right? So hotels that are very much involved with the World Cup rather than hotels that are located elsewhere. So I will shut up for now.
So Sadai, last week we talked a lot of offline stuff, right? And some of the things that we could do offline. And as we were talking through some of those things, and just to recap quickly, we talked about menus, we talked about offline events, watching games, we talked about in-hotel marketing opportunities. Each one of those offline events we were talking about was a real opportunity to connect with someone who is already in your hotel. So then it really led us nicely to a place of, well, how do you stay connected with those people? Because probably getting their emails, right? So that was what led us to this conversation today. So as we think about the World Cup and hotels are preparing for it, what are some of the things you believe that they should be thinking about to start building trust with those, building trust and collecting emails and really putting out good email marketing?
Yeah, well, that's a big question, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
people will so
Sometimes
many things.
you can break it down in 3 parts.
Yeah, I'm gonna break it down a little bit. First, I would like to say that if we look at your email marketing strategy specifically for the World Cup, we need to think about the emails that you're going to send pre-event, the ones during the event, and the ones post-event, right? So if you establish it as a marketing strategy, not just like randomly, like, what should I email today, because that's what many companies do, and many marketing teams do, because we are caught up with so many other things and distractors and like social media and many things, and many teams have to deal with many aspects of content, and email gets neglected sometimes. So anyway, we have like these 3 moments regarding the event itself. And if we plan a marketing strategy, we can think, for example, before, how can the people that are already on our list, how can we start talking about the World Cup and the place of our hotel or our restaurant in that space, because we're talking about the places that are hosting the event in particular, or cities that are nearby, right? So you might be saying things like, for example, it's the first time that we're having the World Cup on this side of the world, right? And then give a little bit of interesting data. Emails are considered boring, as Miret was saying, because we think of sales emails.
Right.
Here's your coupon. Here's your thing. Like buy my thing, and that's boring on both ends. It's boring for the marketer to be just showing a product and please buy it, and it's super boring for the receiver, and I will unsubscribe. But if we focus email marketing more as a content strategy where we are offering value, when we're offering in the case of the hotels, like tips and tricks of how to get into this city that you don't know, because it's people that you will reach from all over the world that without this event, probably they would never know about you.
Right.
So it's an amazing opportunity to attract them. And if you have like different branches in other countries, then, bringing those people from your other places,
That's right.
you can start nurturing them pre-event in that way. So you can collaborate with your other marketing teams, probably offering, cross content that you can support each other. That's an idea that I think about when thinking about pre. Yeah,
I love that, because it sounds like really giving people practical solutions, practical things that they can do, right? So email is an opportunity to say, here's just a little bit more. You saw us on social media, you decided to give us your email address, but here's just a little bit more, and this is special for you. And that's where I believe that's such a great pre-marketing strategy to really build that engagement and excitement, because we're also talking about the World Cup, which is really, really fanatical, right? So
I have an objection.
oh, tell us, right, come on, object.
of course.
No, I have an objection because now you troubled me with something you said, Tamara. You said, and also, so these people, we got their emails, through social media? They have never stayed with us. They don't know us.
Well, it depends, right? Because I think what we're saying is there could have been people that stayed with us. We're probably looking at 2 or 3 different
So
segments.
is it important to segment and to send different emails to different people?
Well, it really depends, right? So the people that have stayed with us already understand certain elements of the area of the hotel. So there's definitely, in the pre-email strategy, we have to speak to them just a little bit different. To the people that have not stayed with us, maybe as, if we're getting them from other hotels that are, like franchise hotels or whatever the case may be, we're using their emails, then we have to say to them, hey, when you come here, if you're coming here, here's what the expectation is. So yes, there could be different types of pre-event emails to meet those audiences, because I think we're looking at really expanding that, and we should be thinking about segments all the time, but it doesn't mean that the pre-email can't be sent to all of them, but they're varying content in the email, right? The content varies a little.
So maybe one section can be different.
We 100%. Go ahead.
Sorry, and also I don't want to scare people like, oh, now segmentation, like, oh my God. So it doesn't have to be super complicated. Usually you have like a client customer list and a leads list, ideally. So you have people that paid already. So those people that paid already.
You really think hotels do that? I mean, I'm thankful that you think so highly about the hotel.
No, but you can.
And some maybe smaller hotels may not be doing it because they may not have the time for it, but a lot of hotels are doing it. Yeah, go ahead.
No, and maybe they don't have the list uploaded into their system and all this like super clear right now. But that's why this is a great opportunity to say, okay, call the sales department or the person that has the information of the clients, and the email is attached to that, right? So just an email that is thought for people who stayed, for example, in the last 6 months or a year in this hotel. For example, you can get that list of your clients for the last year and send a specific email saying, oh, you've been here before. Probably the World Cup is another great moment for you to come back, and well, then you can get some discounts and stuff, but that will be later.
Because you're almost personalizing it. So you're saying, we know you have stayed here before. We know who you are.
Right.
Come back.
Yeah.
someone new to say, we know that you have never stayed here before,
Yeah.
then yeah. Would you also make it clear from the subject line that it is segmented?
Well, the subject line is super, super important because it's the hook, right? It's the first moment, your first chance in with email marketing is the subject line is the goal is people to open the email. Once they open the email, your first sentences are your goal is for people to continue reading the email, right? And then the third goal is the CTA, when you want them to take an action, either go to your website, reserve a room, or whatever it's the call to action that you are including in that email. So we have three goals. So of course the subject line, it's important, but I wouldn't focus on it being, I'm speaking to you particularly, like client versus lead, but what do they care about? So, the subject line needs to speak to me that I've stayed there before. So probably it could say like, come back, or we're waiting for you or something like that, right? But for other emails, it could go, in a totally different direction. But the important thing that we need to keep in mind is how can I make people open this email?
Right. Marek, there's a question in the comments. I love it. Definitely pop it up. Russell has a great question, and I think you just answered it, Sadai. He says,
yeah, go ahead.
Email is not sexy. It has to be enticing for me to open it. What are some suggestions for that?
I agree. Russell is my favorite.
Okay, Russell. Okay. Yeah, well, one, short subject lines are the thing according to people who knows about email marketing. So I was actually listening to a super knowledgeable person speak about this. He's been working with direct response and email marketing for decades, so from the beginning of the story, and he was saying that he was testing 3-word subject lines, right, or 5-word subject lines. So we don't want to put like a whole story. So 1, make it short. 2, make it that like, why would I want to open this email?
Get to the point, right?
Yeah. Like, invite me to open the email. If you're saying like the typical stuff that, because then you see that like one marketer puts a subject line and then everyone uses the same one, no? Right? But in the hotel marketing space, I don't know, Miret, you can tell me like what could be like a super boring headline, subject line, sorry.
Well, I think subject, because I was reading just before some interesting statistics, and apparently if you have a personalized subject line, the chances of people opening it is something like 60% higher, right? So I personally am a big fan of emojis in the subject line.
Yes.
I know one has to be, maybe don't overdo it, right? Especially if you're a luxury hotel, you don't want to overdo it. But to have like a soccer ball, for instance, or something that relates to the topic, I think that would attract people's attention, right? Mm-hmm. Because you see the emoji, somehow the eyes get on the emoji more. Yeah. But I would definitely not make it just the World Cup at Hotel XYZ.
No, exactly.
No, right. And you know what? I don't know that email marketing is ever going to be sexy, Russell. Okay, that's what social media.
Hey, it's sexy.
we want email to be functional and really work for us. But I think you're spot on. The subject lines have to connect back to what's in it for the customer, because that's what they're seeing, right? They're probably looking at it on their phone. So, it's a quick, easy look. So you have to really entice them, get them a message of there's something in here for you, and really draw them in very quickly, because you only have a short time to do that. Go ahead.
And on top of that, people think sometimes about the subject and they don't think about the preview text. So you see on your email, you see a preview, it's like 2 lines, right?
Yes.
So that you can leverage that as well. So you put an enticing subject line with an emoji like a football, and then you can say more about that normally something that is in the email. You cannot say something totally different because then you're
You're misleading them, yeah.
yeah, exactly. But you can, put another hook in that preview.
Yeah. It's like the thing when you think about, when you do a Google search, you get the metadata, you get that information with the little blurb, and that's what you decide to click on those things based on the one that's most relevant to you. So if you consider it, you know what I mean? That's something that, really can work. And it's been proven, right? Email actually works. So once you get people into click on the email and then open the email, Sadai, what's the next thing? Because now it's about really holding their attention, right?
Right. I'm sorry, I got distracted because I was thinking still like to close that loop,
Yeah.
just open about the subjects. It's like what you were saying, Miret, that subject line, like World Cup at this hotel, it's boring. When it's, for example, Black Friday, we get a bunch of emails that say like the same thing, like Black Friday. So how many emails do you open? You get tired of that. So it's possible that your leads will get a ton of emails that will be speaking about the World Cup. So what can you say about your hotel or about your restaurant that stands out in connection to the World Cup? So it's not the World Cup and your name, right? But what is it that it's interesting and important and different about your business in relation to this event? That will wrap that thought. Thank you.
Yeah,
So,
no worries.
so, so you were saying, Tamara, when we are already, we have people on our list, we are emailing them pre-event, then during the event, we can email things more related to what you both were discussing last week, right? Like what's happening now at the restaurant or at the poolside or whatever. Well, it's in winter, I don't know, but in different, what is happening right now, then you can start sending promotions like discounts or come with your jacket, like Tamara is sporting to now the Adidas jacket. So come with your jacket and you get a free drink, whatever it is, that you can make it fun and interesting so that people go cheer their teams at your place, not somewhere else, right? And then after the fact, this is the great opportunity to turn them into fans, right? To turn them into someone that really wants that want to connect with your business. So it's not just the fact that you're going to make the money right now, but that you can nurture these people so that even if they're in a different city right now, probably in the future they will be in your city and they will want to even plan to go to your hotel, right? Like even if they're not planning to go to that city beforehand, now they might be interested. So this is what we use as a nurturing moment, right? Where you continue to deliver value, deliver interesting information, things that are not lame and boring, but more something like a newsletter where you can really speak more directly to their interests and to the things that are cool about your business.
I love that. So we'll talk a little bit about the analytics of email because I think that's really important for us to digest a little bit.
Yeah, analytics. You are very. Yeah, of course. Tamara loves data, so that's good.
I didn't know that.
I know. So no, but of course. Well, I'm gonna say something that is a little bit against the grain. People care a lot about open rates, and of course, we want people to open our emails, and we already spoke about it. But a very important metric to follow is conversion. How much money are we generating, going back to the return on investment, so that we get very excited about email and think that it's sexy when we see that it's making money, right? So we can actually measure those things. If you're sending emails to book a room, then you can track that and see how is it converting and actually start testing emails to see if your subject line If you change it a little bit, maybe you get more bookings, or if you change like the approach within the copy, maybe you get a better return, adding emojis, removing them. So testing all the time in email marketing, I think it's super important. And keeping that track of not only the open rates and unsubscribes and all the regular stuff, but tracking what actually converted into a sale.
I love that. So talk a little bit about post the event. Is there an opportunity there as well too for emails?
Yeah. So again, we think about the short term situation, right? Like here's the coupon code for the World Cup, and then they're gone. But if we take this opportunity to really nurture these people, then we create loyalty in this. Even if they've never been into our hotel or restaurant, we can create loyalty by offering valuable information, by offering things that are interesting. Yeah.
But what if we had sent them a pre-event email? We sent them a during event email, and they maybe multiple, not only two, right? And they still didn't react. So maybe a post-event is not needed.
Well, I disagree. And that's where I'm talking about the short term and the long term. Many times, because of social media and other things that make this a fast food culture, we think about the return right now. But in the long term, as a hotel, you're thinking in the long term, right? You want to think about strategies that will give you a return, not only for this event, but forward. So when we're speaking about they didn't do anything right now, how many times have you've seen a brand and then you like their culture, you understand their values, or they match with you?
It takes time.
Exactly. Well, first of all, it takes time. It takes at least 7 touches before someone actually makes a purchase, in general terms,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
Now, in particular, you follow a brand, and many times you don't buy immediately.
And let's explain this. Not that now hoteliers think that you have to send 7 emails, 1 email a day for a week, and then they will book the room. No.
No.
And certain touches may not all be an email, right? And I think, COVID has shifted those touches to even be more touches, I believe, right? I think people need more touch points because they need to build that trust. So it's not all emails when you talk about those touch points, right?
Right.
It's other areas of connecting.
Oh, yes. Multi-channel. Yeah, for sure. But for example, in the case of the hotels in particular, I might be looking at a hotel that is super cool. I love it, but I cannot be in Qatar this winter. But then because of the World Cup I'm following, this is the moment where I will open those emails. If not, I probably wouldn't open that email about that hotel in like very far away from where I live. So this is the opportunity for hoteliers to grab the attention of people like me. I live in Montreal, so I live very far away. I won't be there, but I will open probably those emails and read them because I'm interested in the topic of the event.
Right.
Then I can fall in love with this hotel and then say, oh, next time I go on.
Or recommend it. Or
right.
Recommend it. So
right.
If you ever hear someone going to Qatar, you say, well, by the way, they were sending very good information. They were sharing a lot of value during this event. So they generally cared about giving out value. So I would recommend staying there. Absolutely. Or you might know the brand XYZ. When you say a different city, you say, well, I remember their hotel and their property in Qatar was sending out good information.
Of course, I have, for example, there's a hotel in the Riviera Maya, and with COVID and everything, I've never been able to go, and I have that in a note that whenever I can, I will go to that particular hotel, and that was not because I was there; it was because I received through emails and other social media. What is it about? And I got interested in, and it's in my bucket list. Right. So hotels are a bucket list thing. It's It's not a necessity,
I made
you
the
know.
bucket list.
I
That's
mean,
huge.
you can go for business and stay at a hotel because of business and stuff. But right now we're talking about the World Cup. So we're talking more about like pleasure based purchases, right? But that same person might need to go to that city for business and in another moment go for pleasure. So, you know, you're grabbing the attention of the person, and down the line they can become a customer.
Absolutely. One of the other things I want to point out too is a World Cup audience is a fanatical audience. So there are fans in there. So these people have, they're almost compulsive about it, right? So you're really tapping into an audience who can become fans, can become obsessed about something. And your hotel definitely wants to tap into that from a target audience standpoint. So I think there's some really great value there.
I love that. Yeah.
Today, Marette, are you starting to love? I feel like you're starting.
Okay, so now that we have reached the 30 minutes, I must say that you have convinced me a little bit that
Okay.
I need to start liking emails more and to not get discouraged when I see an open rate of just like 25%, because that's actually not a bad open
Right.
rate, especially if you have a massive list of, I don't know, 30, 40,000, right, subscribers, which is the case of many hotels. Russell says that he loves our lives, that we always share great content that can be applied immediately. And I think this is exactly what we want to do with our lives here in the hotel marketing space. We also like to share content. We are all very passionate. We don't always agree. We very rarely agree on things.
It works.
But we're still
That's what
friends
makes it
and
great.
all good, you know? It's not, and I think this is the nice thing also about marketing, and especially when it comes to hotel marketing. There's so many different opinions, but let's be very honest. There are some things that work, some things that don't work.
Right.
And we are here to share the things that work. And the end, the things that work don't really depend on us. Like, for instance, now Instagram, they want to share reels, and Facebook is also. So that's what works. Right? So sometimes you might not agree, you might not like the format, you not like the things, but in the end, we are so small. The mega companies, the big businesses, not small like me, the big businesses.
Marette, there's nothing small about you.
No. No, but no matter how big or small is your business, or the business that you're working
my business
at,
is not small, yeah.
no, it's not. But no matter what, like, it's never about what you want. It's about what your customer wants. So I might not like something, but this business is not for me. It's for my clients. So I invite everyone to think about it in that way, you know?
I love that point, because, you know, I stand firm on it. Is always what's in it for the customer, right? We kind of talk about the WFM of marketing. What's in it for me? That's what people are thinking when they're sitting at their computers. They're on their phones. They're not thinking about all the things you put into it as the business. They're not thinking about your vision, your goals. They're like, I want to go to this place. I want it to be easy for me. So we really have to start thinking more about our customers and what's in it for them. So I really love that you made that point.
It's an amazing point to close. I think next time we will go to the more fun things. So Instagram, TikTok.
The sexy.
So I will be happier. But no, absolutely. Thank you so much, Sadai and Tamara, for this very interesting conversation. So Sadai also offers AMA sessions on email marketing. So I think there's lots that marketers can learn from Sadai. So it's amazing to have you on the team. And Tamara, as usual, our queen of digital marketing. Thank you so much, both of you, for being here.
Thank you.
This will stay on the feed for people to watch and rewatch. We always love getting your comments and your feedback. And see you next time.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.